Hey there everybody, this is Robin with Creative2xmom, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for saving money on next year's curriculum. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and this is Creative2xmom. This channel is all about homeschooling, parenthood, and thriving in the day-to-day. Today's video is going to be about tips for saving money on next year's curriculum. I don't know about you, but I am feeling the itch to start buying some curriculum for next year. In fact, I finally went ahead and hit purchase yesterday, and I purchased 3 pieces, 2 pieces of curriculum and a chapter book for next year to go along with our history. So I am definitely feeling it. This is the time of year that I am more thinking and excited about next year than actually finishing this year. So I want to be talking about some tips to keep myself on track as well as to help you save some money. And I'm going to start out with a bonus tip, and that is to have a list. I didn't put this on my 5 tips because I thought, well, obviously, but I know even for myself, if I don't really try to stick to that list, I can end up buying things that I don't use. I've talked about that before, purchases that I've made that I didn't use, and I will link that down below. So then my budget gets a little wonky. So make sure you're starting with a list. I always have at least a mental list of what I'm looking for, but I know that it really benefits me more if I write those things down. So sit down, think about what worked for you this year, what didn't work. If there's a curriculum that you might want to try. I think I gave this tip before in planning my high school. When I saw a curriculum that I thought was going to work really well for us for high school, I put it into 7th and 8th grade year just to try it out. So is there something you want to try next year? Is there a subject, maybe one of the extra subjects that you thought you were going to use this year, it didn't really happen, and so you want to cut it from next year's budget? Or perhaps there is something that you want to add into next year. So make sure you have at least a mental list, some time to think through what you want to purchase. If not, make sure you write it down because that is super beneficial. Okay, so let's actually get into the tips for saving some money, because this is where your budget takes a hit. This is where all of the theoretical stuff really hits the ground and doesn't work. My first tip is going to be hit your thrift stores. Now, I know some of us do not have great thrift stores. Mine's not particularly great, but it is in a good part of town where I can drop a kid off at an activity and then just go do a quick blitz through the store while they're in gymnastics or dance or something like that. You would be surprised. I live in a small town and I do not have a great thrift store. However, there have been times, because I try to make it a more frequent trip, there have been times I've found some really great things there. I have found some Evan Moore curriculum for science. You guys know we love their early grade sciences. Completely unwritten in, and it was part of the book section of the thrift store. So it was only a couple of dollars, brand new workbook that would have cost me $20 to $30 from their website. Perfect for the grade level that I wanted. And again, that's a great way to try a new curriculum. If it's a curriculum that you've heard about and you thought, maybe I want to try it, and you find it at the thrift store, perfect, because then you're only spending a couple of dollars. Sometimes you will get the 50% off days. You're only spending a little bit to actually try it. So even if you don't have a great thrift store, I would suggest you check there first. And if you have a small one like mine, it's not going to take you a whole lot of time anyway. The other thing that I have found, I've talked in the past that we will craft our read aloud list based upon our history and include a lot of history resources. So I always go to the book session and look for those chapter books that we might be using on our next level of history, or looking for chapter books that I might want to put into a book study for the next level. So definitely check those 2 sections. You might be surprised at what you find. Tip number 2 is used bookstores. Now, we have not great thrift stores in our town, but we have an amazing used bookstore. So I'm going to be spending just a little bit more to go there. However, he has an extensive children's section. So again, I'm looking for those chapter books that are going to flesh out our history study. I'm looking for chapter books that would go great into our language arts, book units, book clubs, that sort of thing. And also I am looking for used curriculum workbooks. People will buy workbooks all the time and then not use them. So those Evan Moore workbooks are a big one for me. I'm also looking for something like Broad and Staff, which will be in the book section. Another thing that you might look for there, and this is something that I've done in the past, is I'm trying to, in my kids' high school years, create a reading list of personal growth, Christian biography, that sort of thing, and include that into our school. And he has the one that we have here in town has a great Christian reading section. So I will look for things like that there as well. Old math books with some solid math. You would be surprised how many of those you can find. Biographies are a big one. Those can be slipped into history, or they can be slipped into science, even into your language arts. So don't discount the used bookstores. Tip number 3 is Facebook Marketplace. So again, I'm just going up another layer of cost. I've started at the base, which was our thrift store, moved on to the bookstore. Facebook Marketplace, you're going to be getting into groups of homeschoolers where they really know the value of what they're selling, so you're adding kind of another layer of cost there. But it's a little bit easier to find specifically what you're looking for when you're using Facebook Marketplace. And I'm going to be doing a future video about how to check out and protect yourself from bad sellers, so be looking for that one. But if you get added into these curriculum groups, you can be looking all year round. But this is the time right now where everybody is finishing their curriculum and thinking about next year. So you're going to start to see a lot of things being added to those groups. And the bonus of that is that you can use the search feature. So if you're looking for something very specific, I'm looking for the teacher's manual for the next level of English. So I can just type that in there and find it pretty quickly. And then compare the cost as well, because it will bring up every seller that has that item, and I can quickly scan to see, number 1, the condition, and number 2, comparing the cost of how much it's going to cost me to purchase that item. So this is a really great place. You can connect with homeschoolers all over the country. You're broadening how many people you can connect with, and you're also kind of narrowing down to specifically what you want. Tip number 4 is to ask a friend. Get added to a local Facebook homeschool group and ask around. Is there someone that has this curriculum? Is there someone who'd be willing to sell it to you? So then you're eliminating the cost of shipping. Is there someone who might let you borrow it because maybe they have kids that are in between? They don't want to sell it because they're going to need it in another couple of years, but they don't need it specifically next year. You might be surprised. Or maybe this is a curriculum that you're interested in, you're not sure you really want to purchase it just yet, but maybe you want to meet up with somebody and have a flip through. So asking around with friends, asking in your local homeschool groups, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's at your co-op, maybe you know somebody from church who'd be willing to just let you flip through some curriculum on a Sunday morning, asking for their feedback, what worked for them, what didn't work for them. This is a way of perhaps keeping you from spending money where you don't want to, or perhaps saving you a little bit of money. Maybe they will sell it to you at a discount. And my final tip is to be watching for spring sales. So like I said, I am looking for the next level up in this English book. So I went on to eBay and I looked to see if I could find it there. I did find one copy and only one. Everybody hangs on to these. So I wrote down the cost and then I went to their site and I noticed that they are having a spring sale. This is the time of year, really March, but even sometimes a little bit into April, where you will find curriculum companies, they want to sell early so that they can get their stock shipped to you in time for next year. So they are running their sales right now. Going to christianbook.com, going to Sunlight, going to The Good and the Beautiful. I am looking at Rod and Staff curriculum for our language arts. I know that they are running a sale right now. So I have looked at what I can buy used, and now I'm going to the sites and I'm looking to see, do they have a sale going? Do they have one coming? Sometimes you can sign up to be a part of their mailing list, and then you will get discounts, you'll get notifications of when their sales are. This is the time. So definitely jump on these sales right now, start thinking about next year, and then you'll be all ready come August. So those are my tips for saving money on next year's curriculum. Like I said, spring is the time to definitely be on the ball as we're all anxious and thinking about next year, which is 2023-24. Blows my mind. As we're all thinking about next year's curriculum, we have companies and independent homeschoolers who are also thinking about next year. And so they are running their sales and they are cleaning out their curriculum closets and selling things online. This is a great time to find some of those deals that you are looking for to save your budget. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your favorite budget saving tip for buying new curriculum. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.